Hi, I'm Jeff Logsdon with Valor Restorations out here with my good friend Klaus, who's going to walk us around his beautiful 1965 356 Super Carrera, which has been impeccably restored, and he's had a big hand in getting it done. And I'd like to have you tell us a little bit about this car. It's got a great story.
Well, the 65 was the last year that Porsche made the 356 model. And there were any number of all 64, 65 are C models, but only a certain number of them were S. And this is one of those. And of the Cabrio side, which is what this is, there were even fewer of that. I believe this might be one of about 17 cars.
Wow.
Of that type and vintage. Porsche only made 356s for 6 months in 1965. This one was actually put together in November of 64, but that classifies it as a 65. The car started out as a Dolphin Gray with a red interior. And when I bought it, the car was white, didn't have a top on it, didn't have an interior. And I spent the first 4 years of its life with me back in the early 80s restoring the car.
And you're a certified Porsche mechanic back in the day, correct?
I did go through the Porsche training school up in Dublin, Ohio.
So you know your way around it. And when was that? When did you pick up the car?
I picked up the car in 1981, and it took me 4 years to do that initial restoration.
Right. Doing the back of the napkin math, we've had this car 45 years?
Yeah.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I am only the second owner on this car. There was a Colonel Gillespie that bought the car, had it delivered at Sun Auto in Paris while he was in the Air Force stationed in Germany. So I am the second person of title on this vehicle.
Wow. You want to walk around?
Sure.
What color is this yellow? What was
this? This is champagne yellow.
Nice.
And that is an official Porsche color for that year. And as you see the car, the body has been restored back to what it would have been in 1964, 65. The C models were unique in that the shape of the front trunk is changed from the old A models. The Bs were similar. The A models had much more of a tighter curve.
Okay. And you went with the black top?
Did go with the black top just because that was more traditional. There is a blue that doesn't go well with the yellow.
And a shout out to Autos International who helped us with that.
And they did the top and they did the interior, did they not?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So I didn't feel comfortable in just having anybody do the seats. They are the ones that did the top originally back in 82, 83 when I had the top done.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Tell us about the radio and the gauges. That's an interesting story. And the steering wheel.
Well, the steering wheel was an original wooden steering wheel, and it has the brand LL in it. And I can't ever remember who that's by, but it makes it somewhat of a rare option that was available. The wood during the fire burnt crispy, and Jeff was able to find somebody to restore that steering wheel. So that was very special to me because a lot of sentimental value in all the time I've spent holding that steering wheel.
What about the radio? Can we walk around?
The radio, let's pop that door open. The radio is to look like the original Blaupunkt radio, and it has the long wave, the short wave, and the middle wave, as is known in Europe. Long wave is, of course, like a marine band. Middle wave is what we would call AM, and ultra short wave, UKW, is what we now know as FM.
Nice. And all those gauges were melted. I mean, they were unrecognizable.
The gauges were literally destroyed. And Jeff went through and found a company in California that created us some new gauges from some core bodies that they had.
They did an amazing job. They're beautiful. They work. They function.
Even the clock, which is a weak link in these cars, works and holds time wonderfully. So
it's little things like that, man, the horn. And let's go to the business end of things and tell us about this.
Well, because of the fire, it was an opportunity to go and build a 356 the way Porsche might have wanted to do it had they continued building 356s beyond 1965. So what we've done here is we put in a special custom built by Jack Raby. He's out of Georgia, and this is a 2-liter with a vertical doghouse on a Type 4 motor instead of the conventional Type 4 motor, which is more of a pancake type.
Klaus is not shy. I tell you, when I first dropped the car off, we didn't even have a reveal, and we're spinning tires in second, third gear. He went at this thing like a freight train. So it's got a lot of power, surprisingly. I mean, it's strong.
Per Jake, when he dynoed it, it was about right at 200 horsepower. And
that's a lot for this little car.
195 foot-pounds of torque. So right. The other thing we did different is we have stored the original engine, we have stored the original transmission, and put in a 5-speed.
Yeah.
Which drops the RPMs down while you're cruising on the highway.
Much more comfortable.
A little less noise, too.
A little less noise. And you pickled that for provenance, right? So you want to be able to have that?
Yeah, if at some point, although I don't believe cars of this type will be sought after by whatever the newer generations are. They prefer something electric that you tell it where to go and sit in the back and it takes you where you're going. So for those of us that still enjoy driving a car where we have to steer it, drive it, shift it, this is the epitome of where you'd like to go. The 356 C model was the most refined version of the 356s. So this is the most refined version of that car, and just a real joy to drive. You feel like you're in an old time movie when you sit behind that big steering wheel. And
he's even letting me drive it a few times. I've driven it around. I've gone to car shows with him, and this thing's a winner, man. It wins everywhere it goes. So,
well, speaking of it being a winner, we did enter it in the European Motor Car Show in Burney last fall, whatever month that was. And interestingly enough, the car won Best of Show of all the cars that were there. So my hat's off to the Valor boys for doing what they did with it.
Well, thanks for doing it.
It looks as good as it does because of their skill.
Oh, thank you.
Klaus is a cat with a cool, steady gaze, the kind of operator who can navigate a haze. He had his 65 Porsche, a rare and classic sight, dressed in champagne yellow, shimmering in the light. But the wires got weary and the fuel began to leak. In the corner of the garage, the outlook was bleak. A spark caught a vapor, then the orange started to climb. Klaus had to make a choice in a heartbeat of time. Yeah. The smoke was a blanket, the heat was a roar. The rafters were groaning above the garage floor. Most would have run, most would have fled, but Klaus had a different kind of fire in his head. He's a cat with 9 lives, or so the story goes. And he wasn't gonna watch his yellow beauty decompose. He put his shoulder to the metal, ignored the singe and the sting. He used one of those 9 lives the impossible thing. He pushed that burning Porsche right out into the air while the garage crumbled down in a fiery flare. The insurance man looked at the charcoal in the glass and wrote on his clipboard, "This is a total loss." But you can't kill a spirit and you can't drown a flame when a cat like Klaus is playing the game. She was scored, she was broken. Her yellow turned to black. But Klaus knew a team that could bring the magic back. He took the wounded meadow down to Valor Restoration, the only crew with a heart for these holy vibrations. They stripped back the soot, they healed every scar. They put the soul of the mountain back into that car. They repainted the champagne, made it glow like the sun, until the work of the masters was finally done. From the ash of the garage to the curve of the road, a story of courage in every line that she showed. She's got a new name now, a title she earned, a tribute to the lessons that the fire had learned. Yeah, the insurance man called it a total loss on the page, but she's back on the asphalt, breaking out of her cage. Thanks to Valor's hands and a cat's lucky strike, there's nothing on the highway that looks quite alike. Now we call her the rising phoenix, born from the heat, the finest champagne yellow you'll ever meet. Klaus is at the wheel, looking smooth and sublime, with 8 lives left and a whole lot of time. The engine is purring, the phoenix is flying, and the legend of the Porsche is never ever dying.